Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Dog Show Drive, Will and Wise Dog Show Drive.
Canadian edition.
I'm Will Alexander.
And I'm Y.
Why not? Exactly. This week in the Dog Show Drive, we're going to talk about Westminster Kennel Club and the new panel. This year's panel came out, and it's very exciting, even on the home front.
Very exciting.
And we're also going to talk about last week's question about the should Canada look into a national owner handlers series. With that being said, we have our friend of the show, Michael Faulkner, coming on to talk about the pros and cons of the National Dog Show Owner Handlers series.
Yep.
And then this week's question of the week is regarding how bad does weather have to be before it becomes a safety concern at dog shows.
Yes.
All that
and more
on this week's The Dog Show Drive.
Canadian edition. Hi, Will.
How was your week?
Oh, it was long.
Long.
Yes.
Oh, you do have some stories to tell us, I think. And
I do have stories.
How was your week section of the Dog Show Drive Canadian edition?
I forgot already. Well, so I went to camp. And we had the new boat. So
camp is like cottage, though.
Cottage, cottage or the cabin, depending on what part of the country you're in. So it was really cold at camp. It even snowed because that's what it does in Northern Ontario.
It's cold today here in Southern Ontario. It's cold.
Yeah, the ice was all off the lake, but we got snow Sunday morning. Had about 2 inches of snow out at camp.
We don't have snow, but it's cold. I'm wearing this buckhorn sweatshirt because it's cold.
Mm-hmm. So,
not because they pay me anything. It's not like I just do things because of the money.
Yeah. Anyone? So, but I was at camp and I was doing my studying for my exam, and I drove to Kenora, which was about 4 hours from camp, and camp's another hour from Thunder Bay. So I went to Kenora, I wrote my exam. Fingers crossed. We already discussed all of that. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Whatever. It is what it is, right? So
it is what it is.
It is what it is. And then there's some exciting announcements and stuff. But how was your weekend first?
It was good. I went to Kitchener. I judged at Kitchener Waterloo.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did the sporting group and limited sporting group and the hound group, and I did my first permit on the first half of terriers.
Oh, nice.
So it went really well. I really enjoy the Kitchener Dog Show. It's one of those shows I've been going to my whole life.
Yeah,
and Dave and Michelle, my stepfather and his wife, they're members of that club. And so I got to see Michelle. I saw Dave briefly, but I saw Michelle both days.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
It was overall, it was good. It was fun. It was a good show.
Very good. Very good.
I watched the Black Russian Terrier National was there.
Oh yeah.
Gordon Haber.
What kind of entry? What kind of entry did they get there?
I don't know, but the ring was full.
Oh.
Kitchener had, we're going to go through it. Kitchener had a good entry for the weekend. They had a good entry. And it was nice. I got to see Ken and Donna Buxton. I haven't seen them in a long time. And Ray Philburn, he was on the panel as well. So it was nice to see everybody. It was good.
That's good. Good.
Yeah. And who else was there? Oh, Linda Saranchuk was there as well. So.
Oh, that's nice. Linda's very nice.
I didn't get to spend much time with any of the judges because I was sort of in and out. Because being so close, it's like a 40-minute drive. I didn't stay long because I had to stop at Captiva the one day because I had to go look at puppies and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. I saw Jill had posted that you had to go.
Yeah. So it's always fun to stop at Captiva and see the Irish setters and get some fresh eggs from the Captiva chickens.
Yeah. Did you see the chickens?
I saw the chickens. She has some homebred chickens too, and she'll even tell you they're the prettier ones.
Of course.
Jill has become obsessed with hockey. When the Leafs when the Leafs were in the playoffs, she watched every game and she'd message me as the game was happening. And she'd say, "Good thing I'm not their coach," and things like that. And now she's watching the World Cup too. Like she's watching world
Oh,
hockey. So every time Canada plays, so she talks to me again she messages me and goes on about certain players. And yeah, she's getting into it.
could you
That
imagine Jill
Joey.
as a coach?
Oh my God, yes.
I could see grown men cry, honestly. I could see grown men cry.
She agrees with you. Yep.
And it
that
wouldn't
would be her
bother.
job.
I would be her assistant coach, and it would not bother us at all. Yeah.
Oh,
so
if it
that's
was
fun.
up to her, the Leafs would lose half their roster.
Wow.
Trade that one. I would trade that one.
Well, you don't perform. There's a door.
Out. Oh, well. Yeah, that was my week. But there was some exciting news this week, though.
Yes, very exciting.
Yeah. Now, I think someone thought it was the announcement of the Westminster judges, but someone was messaging how long it was taking. I think in years past, except for when it changed dates, that it always came out on their Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Kalamazoo. So this is the Kalamazoo weekend, so it's kind of the same time.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't think it was late.
No.
I didn't think it was late at all. I always thought I kind of always this month that it comes out. So yeah, so it's very exciting.
And very exciting. Do you want
through?
To announce the judges, or you want me to? It's up to you.
You can do them.
Well, I'll do the main judges.
I'm still a little sickies. Yeah.
Right. Well, doing best in show this year is none other than David Fitzpatrick. David is, there's no question, he's like an icon in our sport.
Yeah.
He's won Best in Show Westminster multiple times. He has proven himself as a breeder, as a handler. His Pekingese are second to none. He's always dominant in Pekingese. But even as a toy dog handler, he was always dominant.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be dominant as a judge as well. I'm so happy for him. I think he's going to do such a great job. The sporting group is being done by Doug Johnson, Class 6 fame. Yep.
Also very well known.
Oh, and another icon in our sport. Yeah. He's proven himself in everything he's ever tried. Him and Jamie have produced multiple Best in Show winners in all their breeds, and multiple Best in Show winners at Westminster. So it's quite the honor, and it's definitely well deserved. Hound Group is being done by none other than Michael Canalizo.
This is like a star-studded panel so far, right?
But when you think of the Hound Group, but Hound handlers, you got, especially Westminster, you got to include Michael. I can still see him running around the ring with Tris in his sequin jacket. It's like he's a
I just got goosebumps with that.
What's that?
I just got goosebumps with that.
Oh, for sure. He was a rock star, right? Yeah. He still is. And then Group 3, the working group, is being done by my dear friend Sue Forsyth Green. I'm so excited for her, and she deserves it. And I'd love. I'm sure Bob and Jane would just be tickled pink and so proud that their daughter was judging the group at Westminster.
Yeah, and the working group for sure.
The toy group is
you've got the terriers.
Terriers.
Yeah.
Terrier group is Miss Polly Smith. I love Polly Smith. She's going to do a great job. I sent her a message. She's just thrilled to be on the panel. And she's been a long-time judge. Pardon me?
I find her to be quite a character. I enjoy watching her.
She's a character. And
I love watching her judge, too.
Oh, she'll do a fabulous job. Yeah. She'll do a fabulous job. And then the toy group is, I believe,
Ms. Charlotte Patterson.
Oh, Charlotte Patterson. Yes, there we are. Charlotte Patterson. And she's, again, another deserving judge
for sure.
Her pugs and she's just a great judge overall, She'll just do a fabulous job.
Yeah.
And then Group 6, because they're not in order, I try to keep them in order here. Group 6 is none other than Gene Blake.
Yeah.
We gotta love our Gene Blake.
Love him. Yeah,
so he's gonna be there doing Group 6. I think he's judged other groups before, but he's unbelievable. And then the herding group is Sherry Moses Combs. And that's going to be so exciting to watch. I love watching Sherry judge. So I'm really excited to see her judge the herding group.
This is quite the panel for the 150th.
It is quite the panel. And we also have
There's this guy I know.
This guy
I know.
everyone knows.
My big brother.
Yeah,
my big brother Raymond is getting to judge.
Yeah.
He's doing Afghans, Borzois, Greyhounds, Ibizans, Scottish Deerhounds, and of course he's doing Whippets.
Oh, that'll be fun to watch him.
That ring will be 5 deep for sure when they'll be coming to watch him do Whippets for sure. So
that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah,
and I believe he's the only Canadian on the panel, isn't he? Other than
Timmy Brazier.
Tim Brazier, who is from Canada, but he lives in America now. I believe he's doing
all the poodle varieties.
Yeah, he's seen him doing toys, and I believe he's doing. Is he doing anything else in the non-sporting group, or is it just toys, just poodles?
I think
that's usually enough at this show. So
yeah, I think it's just poodles. Let me just double check here. I thought I saw it.
Yeah, just poodles, miniature poodles and standard poodles, and he's doing toy poodles. So that'll be another ring that is a hotly contested ring, and I'm looking forward to watch.
That'll be exciting. For sure.
And there's a couple. I don't want to go through them all because there's a lot of judges.
And you can go to the website. You can go to the Westminster website.
If you want to see the full breakdown, you can go with the Westminster Kennel Club website.
We'll probably put the link. We'll put the link up on our Facebook page too for faster.
Well, we won't, but Doc will.
Megan
we don't
will.
know how to do that.
What do you mean? What do you mean we don't?
We're lucky we turn this thing on each week.
I know. How many times do you have to tell me to turn my mic on when I'm
talking to your microphone, Yvonne?
Sorry.
And then my dear friend Eddie Zook is there again this year.
Yeah.
He's doing a bunch of sporting dogs, so that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And from across the pond, another dear friend, Gavin Robertson. He's doing some sporting dogs, but he's also doing the mighty breeds. He's doing Basset Beagles, all varieties, PBGBs, and McGraw Bassets, and Basset Hounds. So that'll be fun to watch, Gavin. He's such a Captain Aluminium. I can't wait to see him judging on the green carpet. Captain Aluminium. Did I ever tell you that story?
I think you did, but you can tell everyone else that story.
Well, when we were showing Peter Parker, Gavin was a co-owner on Peter Parker and co-breeder.
And Peter Parker is a
PBGB.
Yes.
And we went to the National. We all hung out, and Gavin was there. I believe Sarah was at home. I believe Sarah was there. Sarah was at the show because we called home. Yeah, Sarah was with us. Sarah's with Gavin, not us. And we started talking about pronunciations of certain things compared to the English version.
Yeah.
And in England, they say aluminium, and in America, we say aluminum.
Yeah.
And we convinced Gavin that everyone says aluminum. And he was getting very upset that we were seeing this. So even Sarah, his wife, jumped in. Of course he said, well, I'll prove you wrong. I'll ask Sarah. What's it called, Sarah? Gavin, it's aluminum. Oh, he almost went off the edge. And then he went as far to call somebody in England, a friend, but Sarah was smarter than that. She'd already called ahead and warned her, and she said, aluminum. Oh, Gavin was losing his mind, and ever since then, I've called him Captain Aluminium.
Captain Aluminium.
That was so much fun, though.
He could be a grand champion aluminium.
Anyway, wasn't exciting. That's going to be the 150th anniversary at the Westminster Kennel Club this year.
Going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I interviewed Don Stars earlier this year, and he wouldn't give me any hints, but he's got a lot of surprises for us. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
I can't wait. I'm booking the tickets now, or as soon as I can find a sale. But yeah. Because I wanted to go because it is the 150th, and now that Raymond's judging to boot, I definitely want to go and support him. So it'll be, and I know both girls might come with me too, but we don't know. We don't know yet if Hopi will be able to, but Faith wants to come for sure to watch her uncle.
The only thing I'm worried about with Ray is going to be a long walk for a smoke break.
So true. Maybe
you might want to get on that now, Ray. Might want to get some of those those nicotine gum or something.
Yeah. Maybe you can do a dip. You see Raymond going up to the table.
Nice. A spittoon at the Hound Ring. Anyway.
Poor Raymond. I can't stop not picking on him. He has this honor to be a judge at Westminster, and here I am making fun of him with the smoke.
No, but he's such a wonderful judge. I'm really looking forward to watching him judge those breeds.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. And he was a longtime assistant of mine as well, so I know him really well.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Let's get going. Because there was a lot of shows on the long weekend.
There was. Across Canada, driven by
Show Scene Magazine, where every dog takes center stage. So we had Fort St. John out in BC there. Thursday's show, the first one was judged by Bonnie Derry, and she had 145 dogs. The second was judged by Barbara Heel from Ontario, and she had 143 dogs. On Friday, we had Ron Mahan, also from Ontario, and he had 149 dogs. And then the second show that day was by Carol Graham from Alberta. She had 149 dogs as well. Saturday's Best in Show, the first one was judged by Donna Connaught of Ontario with 157 dogs, and the second was Dr. Gail Forsyth from Alberta, and she had 152 dogs. And then the last day, the first show was judged by Grant Townsend from BC with 148 dogs, and our friend of the show, Richard Parquette, from Ontario. He judged the second one with 147. And we didn't have any previous year's entries to compare it to because they didn't have a show in 2024. So the next show here in Quebec was the Hochelaga Kennel Club. And Friday's Best in Show was judged by Lynn White from Manitoba with 189 dogs. Saturday was Lee Stevens from Nova Scotia with 230.
Lee Steves. It's Lee Steves.
Steves. I thought so. I was like, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's a typo.
Ron Burgundy. Sorry.
You know what? I've had a long day.
I know you have. Lee Steves from Nova Scotia, 236 dogs. You can carry on now.
All right. Sunday's Best in Show judge was Heather Langfield from Ontario with 218. And Monday's show was Joanne Pavey, friend of the show, from Ontario with 203 dogs. Other judges that were on assignment were, is it Lizanne?
Lizanne,
yeah. Hamill from Quebec, and Joanne Furnell from Ontario. 2024 entries were 214, 270, 267, and 185. So the entries were down a bit.
They were down a little bit, yeah. And they had such tremendous weather there this year. It was incredible.
Yeah, which we'll get into later. But that did not look like fun on Facebook, that's for sure. Then the next show we've got here is out in BC, the Kelowna Kennel Club. Friday's Best in Show judge was Doug Godin from...
Doug and Avery Godin, friends of the show.
Friday, he had 148 dogs, and Avery on Saturday had 158 dogs. So she got more dogs than him.
Wasn't going to say that. I'm sure you already told him.
Probably. Sunday's Best in Show was Alana Ferguson from BC with 144. And Monday's Best in Show judge was our friend Sean Bennett from Manitoba with 125 dogs. Other judges on assignment there were I don't know how to say that. Delvian Bolak.
Delvian.
Yep, from BC. Penny Lewis from Saskatchewan, who shares a birthday with Will. Suzanne Quinnell of BC. My brother, Raymond Urick.
Raymond
Urick from BC. And Michelle Yeadon. That must be, Michelle Yeadon is now gone on to judging. And
I wonder if that was her first assignment.
I was just thinking that myself. We should probably ask her. And
Michelle, was that your first assignment?
Yeah.
Let's see if she's listening.
I can't hear her. Anyway, the 2024 entries were 189, 206, 197, and 130. So they too were also down.
Yeah, they are down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the Tantramar Kennel Club. Now, where was that? That was out in, that on the Maritimes?
I would think so.
I think so, eh? So they had two shows. Yeah, it is 2 shows Friday and 2 shows Saturday. So show number 1 was Judith
Burn.
Byrne from New Brunswick with 115 dogs. And then the second show was judged by her husband, William, also 115 dogs.
I was going to say also Burn.
Also Burn. Burn, baby, burn.
I just said, no, that was Brian.
Brian Armstrong. That's another story for another day. But anyway, Saturday's Best in Show was judged by Mike Jackman from Ontario with 111 dogs. And the second show on Saturday was Ann Felsky Jackman with 105. And other judges on assignments were Andrea Robbins from Ontario. And so they too were down. Entries in 2024 were 140, 147, 138, and 129. So also down. So maybe people just weren't ready for the long weekend.
Maybe.
Regina. They had 2 shows a day, Friday and Saturday. The Joe and Janet Lobb were on Friday. Janet had 139 and Joe had 144 dogs. And then on Saturday, the first show was judged by Irene Latchford from Ontario with 128. And the second show was Vicky Umpleby, also from Ontario with 129 dogs. Other judges on assignment were Jolene Klotz from Alberta. And the entries, these were down as well. So 2024 entries were 157, 155, 158, and 151.
Every show's been down so far.
I like all of those shows, and usually you'd like to see them kind of pump up on a long weekend, but
let's see about the next one.
So then the KW Kennel Club, which is Kitchener-Waterloo Kennel Club in Ontario, up in your neck of the woods there, William. Saturday's Best in Show judge was Raymond Filburn from New Hampshire with 299 dogs. Sunday's Best in Show judge, as you say, Donna Buxton from Texas with 320 dogs. Monday's show was Ken Buxton with 249 dogs. Mm-hmm. And as we can see, other judges on assignments were Ted Falgren, Grace Fritz from Kansas, Dr. Allison Jones from Ontario, and Linda Soranchuk from Alberta. So the 2024 entries were 251, 241, and 165. So that was a good weekend. They definitely were up. Quite a bit.
Up. Yeah, they went up. I don't know what the denominator was there, but they went up.
The denominator, yeah. WA.
Hey, did somebody say
tribute? Anyhow, that was across Canada, and that was brought to you by Show Scene Magazine, where every dog takes center stage.
That's right, they do.
Yep. Now over to you, Will, for our
upcoming shows. Brought to you by Canuck Dogs, your source for Canadian canine event information online. That's right. So all these shows you can find at Canuck Dogs. Yes. First one is Lady Slipper Kennel Club, June 21st, 22nd, 2025. It's held in Wellington, Prince Edward Island. It's indoors, 4 all-breed shows, 1 obedience trial. They also have the Maritime Golden Retriever Club, especially there, Maritime Toy Dog Club Group Specialty Show there as well, Rottweiler Club of Canada Regional, okay? And that the closing day is Monday, June 9th, 9 p.m. Atlantic time. Show secretary is friend of the show, Patrick Mudge.
Mr. Mudge.
Yeah. Grand Prairie Regional Kennel Club, June 20 to 23rd in Grand Prairie, Alberta. 8 all-breed shows, 4 rally obedience trials. And the closing day, the show secretary is Arctic Dream Show Services. Closing date, Monday, June 2nd, 2025, 11 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we have the Monarch Kennel Club, June 19th to June 22nd, held in Dorchester, Ontario. It's outdoors. 4 all-breed shows, limited breed shows for groups 1, 3, 5, and 6. And the Cavalier Fanciers of Southern Ontario, they have 2 specialty shows. And the East Lake Cavalier Club has a specialty show as well. Papillon Club of Canada National. Show secretary is MJN, friend of the show. And closing date is Wednesday, June 4th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the Nanaimo Kennel Club, June 19th and June 22nd in Nanaimo, BC. This is an outdoor event. 4 all-breed shows. There's a sweepstakes available as well. Looks like both days, or just one day. Related specialties are Vancouver Island Toy Dog Club, 2 group specialties for Group 5. And the show secretary is Classic Show Services, closing May 28th at 9 p.m. Pacific Time.
Pacific.
I like that part. Pacific Time. It's 11 o'clock. You know what time it is.
Where are your children?
Kenora and District Dog Club, June 27th and 29th at Kenora,
I was
Ontario.
just there.
You were just there.
I was
6 all-breed shows and 3 obedience trials and 3 rally obedience trials. Show secretary is Crystal Friesian. Closing date is Friday, June 6th, 9 p.m. Central
Standard Time.
And then we have the Association Canine de la Mauricie.
Mauricie.
June 27th to June 29th in Saint Anna de la Parade, Quebec. It's indoors and outdoors. 3 all-breed shows, limited breed shows for Group 1, 5, 7, and 4, obedience trial, 4 obedience trials, and 4 obedience rally trials. Belgian Shepherd Dog Club of Canada Regional, regional specialties for Belgian Shepherd Dogs, Canadian National Australian Shepherd Association Regional, and a specialty show for French Spaniels. Show secretary is Pascal Pontois. Closing date is June 11th, 9 p.m.
Eastern Time.
And then we have the Evangeline Kennel Club, June 27th and 29th in Windsor, Nova Scotia. Yeah. 5 all-breed shows. Looks like they're having the National Specialty Show for Hoverworts. Hoverwort Club of Canada National. Show secretary is Nancy Downing. Closing day is Wednesday, June 11th, 6 p.m.
Atlantic Time.
And then we have the 4 City Kennel Club, June 27th to 29th in Elmer, Ontario. 3 all-breed shows. German Shepherd Dog Club of Canada has a specialty. Southwestern Ontario Sporting Dog Club, 2 group specialty shows for the sporting dogs there. Show secretary is, again, MJN Show Services, Vicky, friend of the show. Wednesday, June 11th, 8 p.m.
Eastern Time.
That's right. And then we have Nicola Valley Kennel Club, June 27th to June 30th in Merritt, BC. That's an outdoor event. 4 all-breed shows. There's also a sweepstakes. There's also the Interior Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Club specialty show for Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. Show secretary is Arctic Dream Show Services. The closing date is June 9th, 11 p.m. Pacific time. I think she was falling asleep, folks. Lakeland Kennel and Obedience Club, June 28th to June 30th in Cold Lake, Alberta. This is an indoor event. 6 all-breed shows.
Because it's cold there.
Yep. Show secretary is Arctic Dreams. Closing date is June 9th, 2025 at 11 p.m.
Mountain Time.
Right. That was the upcoming shows brought to you by Canuck Dogs, your source for Canadian canine event information.
Online.
That's right.
Yeah. So
quick reminders of closing?
Yep.
Yes, go ahead.
So the quick reminders for closing. St. Francis Kennel and Obedience Club closes on Tuesday. That's next Tuesday, May 27th. Diana Edwards is the show secretary. Ontario County Kennel Club closing on Wednesday, May the 28th. And that's also a Diana Edwards show service as well. Prairie Canine Academy, PCA.
PCA in the prairies.
Yeah. Closes on Thursday, May 29th, or when the limit is reached. So if you're going to go, get your entries in. And that show secretary is Karen Fairburn. Comox Valley Kennel Club also closing on Wednesday, May 28th. And that's the classic show secretary's classic show services. Nanaimo Kennel Club closing also on the 28th.
Wow, everything's closing on the 28th.
Yeah, and that's another classic show service as well. And then finally, the Yukon Kennel Club, also closing on May 28th. And that is the show sector's Arctic Dreams. So those are all your closings for the next week.
Yeah.
So if you're
and
planning
all those
on
can
going,
be found on Canuck Dogs.
it's your online source for Canadian canine event information. So that's that. So,
and then we're going to go all the way down to
our topic, our question of last week.
Did you want to do? Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, remember that's what we said we were going to do.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Right. Okay. So let's do that. Let's talk about that. And so the question last week, it was, could the Canadian
Kennel is brought to you by Pro Plan.
Fuel the champion
within your dog. Yes, so, I always like. What was the other taglines? There's
the nutrition that performs. I always like
that. Nutrition that performs.
And then you just see like a pointing or a pointer, the short hair going through a field.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Dog. Anyway, it works.
It does.
Last week's question was, could the Canadian Kennel Club benefit from introducing a national owner-handler series similar to the one offered by AKC? Now, we all know we got it wrong because we called it novice. We were well aware that it's because originally I think it was called novice in America.
Yeah, and then I believe it got changed.
Yes, and then it got changed to the National Owner Handler Series. So
we're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry.
We're sorry.
We are Canadian. We're sorry.
We're sorry.
But before we get into some of the comments, I think we're going to have a segment with.
Yes.
Dear friend Michael Faulkner is going to come on. Michael, he actually judged Best in Show at the National Owner Handlers
event. At the AKC National.
AKC National, yeah.
In Orlando last year.
So he has some good thoughts on how the AKC did introduce this and how it's become the norm now in the AKC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's our friend Michael Faulkner. He's an AKC judge and breeder. Hi, everybody. As promised, I have a retired professional handler, owner breeder handler, AKC judge, Michael Faulkner, here to give us his opinion on the Owner Handler series. Hi, Michael.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is. And I'm always good for an opinion on something.
You are. You are. So last week's question of the week was, would CKC benefit from having an owner handler series much like the AKC? And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that. What are your positives and negatives? And do you think it has benefited the AKC and so on?
You know, when the program was first launched, I was hesitant. I was like, oh, good God, just another opportunity to generate revenue for the Kennel Club, and it's going to be meaningless from my perspective. So with that said, shortly after I made that comment, I was showing one of my golden retrievers out in California at a specialty. And I went winner's dog and best of winners under Mr. Bivin. Well, I did not know when the entry was made that the co-owner checked the owner handler box. And Mr. Bivens said to me, and sir, you will be my best owner handler. And I was like, what? I go, I didn't check the box. He said, the box is checked and you will take these ribbons and you are my best owner handler and you will stay for the owner handler group. And I was like, okay. So I actually stayed, waited all day long, marched myself down to the owner handler ring. And when you're out of context, nobody knew who I was. So I sat there with all these other owner handlers and I listened and I watched and I participated. And it was an amazing experience for me. I listened to breed specific conversation. I watched and observed this tremendous support for each other within the owner handler group, encouraging them. And it was it was mind blowing the difference it made in my opinion and how I approach the owner handler groups here. And I think it's an extremely worthwhile program, and at multiple levels. So I think there are those that they get exhausted because it's just another layer at the dog show that they have to be responsible for, and it adds time, and then you got to get the judges, and it's just frustrating. But what I see it give back, and the intrinsic value that these owner handlers receive from participating and being rewarded, I think it's extremely beneficial, and I would highly recommend it.
Oh, good. And like in my opinion, I haven't judged as much as you have, or been down there and experienced as much as you. It's amazing the strength now, the depth that's happening to the owner handler group. First couple of years, when I would have watched them or judged them, they were okay. They were fine. You know, there was always one or two dogs you would look at, but now sometimes you can't tell which group is which. There's that much depth. So it's
Absolutely. And
getting that way.
this past year, I had the privilege of doing Best Owner Handler show at the AKC
Hmm.
Invitational, and that's where they compete all year to be able to compete at that show based on their winnings. And I'll tell you, that final lineup was
Oh,
stunning.
it was
And
beautiful. I watched it. Yeah, it was
yeah,
beautiful.
and for me, I'm like, well, why would you not want to encourage this?
Yeah. Oh, good, good. I hope that, and I hope that helps. We had a lot of great response, and there was some not so great, and some yay, some. So I'm glad this may help some people see the lights, where the light is for our sport. So
Well,
thank you,
I think
Michael.
too that I think you also have to remove yourself from, if you're not actively showing, and if you're not an owner handler and you haven't sat down at ringside and watched and experienced and explored the possibilities that are there, I don't think you're in a position to give an opinion. I think that you can be negative and cantankerous about things as of an observer, like my glass is half full, but half empty. But I think if you look at it, these exhibitors are out there, they're entering, they want the program, and as long as the desire is there, why not allow it and offer it to the sport?
Well, exactly, and I think it has done nothing but benefit a lot of them. A lot of them have become more competitive because of it. So I think, from what I see anyway.
Yep, I agree.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you, Michael. Like I knew I could rely on you.
Well, at least for today. Well, I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Well, thanks, Michael. Look forward to seeing you, and hopefully I'll see the other Michael too. Had such a good time in New York. So, okay.
Absolutely, that's his one or two shows a year. All right, take care, my friend.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well, that was good, Michael. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your time. Michael's always great. He's very generous with his time.
He's a delightful human being. I so enjoy when he is around. I really like Michael.
Michael's a great guy.
Yeah.
And he's, whenever I've asked him for any comments on anything, he's always obliged me. He's great.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a bunch of comments from the listeners.
Yes, and thank you for participating, everyone.
Yes,
this is
we really appreciate it.
Yeah, this sounds. You care, which is good. So,
Linda Torrance, friend of the show.
Yes.
She wrote, Canada needs a national overhandler series. The AK system is wonderful. Why wouldn't we just use the same as the AKC, which is tried and true? It will help with our entries. Many breeder owner handlers finish their dogs, and because our entries are so much smaller, they don't continue showing their dogs or entering their dogs. Some do get a grand. This can be a great incentive for everyone, clubs included.
Yeah.
And it's true.
It is true. Because there's people that are on both sides of this too.
For sure there is. That's bound to happen.
Yeah. So Christiane Silka, I think that's how you say her last name. She's like, no, I feel that this is offering a children's table out for judges to potentially not consider awarding a non-pro handler at the group level, and in my opinion, would only worsen the divide. And that was kind of an underlying theme too. That there's some sort of divide between. Yeah. And I don't know. I think maybe at first it started out like that kind of in the States, but I don't really see it as.
Well, like Michael just told us, it's amazing how serious they take it down there and how much more competitive they've become because of this event, of this class.
Yeah.
And I think it's done good for everybody involved. It's I don't want to say done well. It's been good. Like
Yes.
I don't want my mother jumping on me about my grammar. But it's I remember seeing them early on when they first started, and sometimes the groups weren't that competitive. Well, now you can't tell which group is the real group or the owner handler group. They become that competitive.
Yep.
So.
Who I just read? Oh, Richard Lafond. The more welcoming the sport is to novices and owner handlers, the more it will thrive. Nothing against professional handlers here, and that's true. And if you have, I mean, you still compete within the breed.
Yeah.
But it's just another award that you have to. It's a box you tick.
Yep, and if you want to stay, you can stay. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to stay for the group. I don't think. I'm not sure.
Yep.
But you check that box, and if you didn't happen to win the breed that day, but you did win owner handler and breed, you can still stay and compete. And if it's going to be much like the American system, there will be rankings. There will be rankings of top owner handlers in each breed, in each group, and overall.
Yep. Don French, he also says, yes, I've been following the owner handler series in the AKC, and I see many benefits. Pro handlers may disagree, but with the rising cost of dog shows and the outrageous fees some pro handlers are charging, breeders and owners should have their own platform to showcase, so not to compete with the pro handlers. But in the States, to me, they still compete with the pro handlers. It's just that's a secondary award that if if you don't win the breed, and a lot of I know in English setters myself, there's a lot of the owner handlers are in and they're winning the breed.
Oh my God, yes.
There's a lot of breeds that have fantastic owner handlers. So what other ones do we want?
Mm-hmm. Lauren Broughton from Northern Ontario, she writes, maybe I feel more impacted because I have to travel further, but the average owner handler doesn't have the time and or the money to fully campaign a dog on their own. If they have a 9 to 5 to support their dog show habit, they also have limited vacation time, especially when starting out in their new careers. Let's be honest, recognition matters, and the dogs and the handlers that can only do 6 to 10 shows per year don't have much chance to build on their successes. An owner handler series lets those owner handlers feel like they are on somewhat equal footing with the competitors when it comes to campaigning their dog. It gives them something to work towards that is within their scope of achievability. It's an extra opportunity to improve their skills and start building a recognition.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's see. There's also
I like what Hillary Chambers wrote. As someone who is still finding my feet at the end of the lead, this is intriguing. It might keep people at CKC shows rather than venturing off to UKC shows, which traditionally has been more welcoming to novice handlers that may be intimidated by showing with or against professional handlers. But the only way to become better is to compete against the best. And she's right. She's right.
Yeah, it's true.
And
you will
you're
not
still
improve.
Competing with those people and not just professional handlers. There's breeder handlers that make mincemeat of some professional handlers.
Oh,
so
we have a slew of them here in Canada alone.
Oh my God, yes.
So our friend of the show, Ty Manoy, he said, should do it with judges who are working on the breeds and groups, giving the new judges and provisionals a chance to get into routines and protocols. That way the handlers and the new hopeful judges get a chance to get some experience, which is also a good.
That's true, yep. Good old Ty Manoy. Ty was here with us for a summer when he worked for me. He was great.
Yeah, he has big feet.
Judy McVeigh. Absolutely. Everything we can do to encourage people in the sport will be highly beneficial. And I think that's a great positive outlook.
Yeah. And then we just get some people that say no.
No, we get a bunch of no's. Then when you get Richard Paquet, yes, a program long overdue to be implemented.
Yes.
Yep. And that being said, right afterwards, I got a message from none other than Bob Whitney. Said, "Hi, Will. I saw your podcast and your question of the week, owner handler program similar to AKC. Actually, CKC has appointed a special committee which I chaired. The end result is that at the recent March board meeting, an owner handler program was approved. Unfortunately, it will not become effective until January 1st, 2027, due to the financial requirements for the computer work and staff time required, which in 2026 has already been allocated. So yes, an official owner handler program is coming to the CKC and has, but right now the CKC has other priorities that have already been set." Bob Whitney.
There you go. Right from one of the big kahunas himself.
Yep. And so it's coming, folks.
Yeah.
It's coming.
So that'll be exciting. That'll be something else that we can watch for and celebrate.
That's right, and there will. I'm sure there'll be a celebration for the winners too at the end of the year for the top owner handlers. It's going to add to our sport.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to always be naysayers, and I understand, but give it a chance because I think it's really gone over well and done well by the AKC. So.
Yep, and it should, and I think it will help people retain people also in our show system.
Yes, keep us at the shows.
Yeah, well, that was good.
Right.
Now we have our newest feature. Our newest feature.
From the Kennel and Bench is brought to you by Canadian Dog Fancier Magazine, your weekly summary of purebred dog events across North America.
Yes. So this week's excerpt, well, there's two of them, but this week's expert, I can't even say that word anymore. Yes. I think the interesting thing about this is this was from like the end of the
1809 June edition. 1809 June edition. Think about that. There were dog shows and dog show publications in 1809.
That's like 200 years ago, isn't it?
Almost, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, over, yeah.
No, it is over 200 years ago. I did the math. Carry the one. So this one is this is about a situation, and it's kind of pits dogs against cats, but it's kind of a thing that still is relevant today. It's a noise
violation, right?
It's a noise violation. So this is how it goes. Makes Rome howl. A correspondent sent us the following pithy clipping. Pithy clipping. You don't hear that word very often anymore.
Isn't it pissy clipping? No. I just had a lift. Ethel Thayer, but you think of lifting, don't you? I didn't mean that, folks. Don't take offense.
Just shut up, Will. Anyway, a bill has been introduced in the New York legislature requiring owners of dogs to keep them shut up in buildings or chained after dark. This is all right for a dog that makes Rome howl by pouring forth his woes to the moon, or who snaps at everyone who passes near his particular doorstep, is a nuisance and should be suppressed. But the town council of Binghamton, New York, has gone further than that and has passed an ordinance providing that the owner of any dog that is permitted to bark after nightfall shall be fined $5. $5.
Whole American dollars.
But think about that in like 1809. That'd be like $1 million.
Well, I don't know about $1 million, but it'd be a lot.
A lot of monies. I'm not doing that math. Anyway, this appears to be all right, too, for the man who keeps a dog which he cannot control, deserves to be fined. But how about the midnight cat? It does not seem fair that the honest but noisy watchdog should have his bark corked up, as it were, and the thieving and vociferous Thomas cat be allowed to arch his spine on the back fence and make night hideous without any restraint beyond what may be imposed by an occasional brick or an old boot. You can totally see that cartoon, right?
Yeah, like throwing his shoe at them. Yeah.
The good people of what is it again? Binghamton had better pass another ordinance to prevent caterwauling as well as the barking of dogs. See?
Yeah.
And as we say, the more things change, the more things stay the same, because there's lots of ordinances about barking dogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have to say, the other day, Faith had left Walter out in the backyard, and it was probably about 9:00 at night. It wasn't very late, but got a knock on our door, and I could have killed her. But the neighbor was like, "Your dog's still barking, and I'm trying to get my baby to sleep." And I was ready to kill her, and I'm like, Faith. So poor little Walter. He just gets
caterwauling Walter.
Yeah, he just gets Walter gets lonely. Anyhow, so
I think we should move on to the question of the week, though.
Okay, let's go.
So this week's question of the week brought to you by
ProPlan.
Fuel the champion in your dog. With the severe weather events becoming more frequent, like what happened in Hochelaga this past weekend, at what point does the weather raise safety concerns for you and your dog?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it is like we've been to some shows that have been canceled over the years. There's been some shows that haven't been canceled. I remember back in the 70s, we were at a show in the Barrie Kennel Club, and I'm pretty sure a tornado came through, took down the tent, and that was the year that we lost the life of Bill Smith from Duffville Cockers was under the tent that year, and he was trying to get everybody out because the weather was so bad, and the tent came down, and I believe Bill suffered a heart attack and passed away at the dog show in Barrie that year. But there's a lot of events like that. I remember being at the Alberta Kennel Club one year, and the hail was so bad that we all stayed underneath the stalls, and it was noisy, and dog show did stop. Because they had to.
Right.
I don't think it was canceled. The only show I can remember being canceled, my recollection was Woodstock and Oxford Kennel Club in the summer of 2000.
Yeah.
It was so bad. The water rose in the river, and it came into the dog show.
Order date was the 22nd.
And most of the breed judging got through.
Right.
But they canceled at group time. And me being me, I went around with a clipboard and polled all the judges to see if they would have placed my dogs.
How good of you.
But the only show that was left going, because it was on a hill, was the Rottweiler National. And Peter Lapointe was judging that. And so I had to go show my Rottweiler. And I'll have to say my Rottweiler was known as the biggest Rottweiler in captivity. But standing in 3 inches of water, he looked kind of normal.
He looked normal. Poor Cato. Yeah, of course. So, but it's something that as personal for you personally. And if we just sit there and we look at conditions, like when it starts raining at a show, like we all hate it, because what happens to the rings? The rings get trashed. Right. And like looking at Hochelaga this weekend, like small dogs, I mean, they would have to almost swim through some of the puddles in those rings. Question. And so
a little bit of rain is fine to compete in.
And
it's when it gets to the point where it starts to wreck the grounds that you can't work.
Well, I remember several times being at Finger Lakes in the States. How many times have we been? And then they bring in the straw, and and it doesn't help. And like the thing is that very few dogs show better in those kind of conditions. So
except for Bud Beagle.
Yeah, except for Beagles.
Bud Beagle, he was a mutter.
He was a mutter. But it's hard, and you can ask judges. They'd rather, watch dogs in better conditions too. So, I don't know if there's it's a hard call to make, because it's not like you can turn everything around on a dime, and maybe you can go inside, but maybe you can't. For example, just this past week, the Irish Setter National, they moved the best of breed competition on the third day of their judging. They moved the best of breed competition inside, because
it was due to heat, though, wasn't it?
It was due to heat, and it wasn't in. It was actually because the judge was having troubles in the heat. And so, you don't, because you have to remember that too, with our aging population at dog shows, it's not just the dogs you have to be concerned about. It's also the human people. And sometimes the human peoples, human peoples that, they don't, I remember I got heat stroke at Edmonton. That one year, remember?
They can sneak up on you too.
No, it does.
Sneak up on you. So.
Yeah, and once you've had heat stroke once, you're susceptible to get it again and again. So you do have to, you have to be very careful, not just for your dogs, but for the human peoples too.
The human people.
The human peoples. So.
So this week's question of the week was brought to you by
Pro Plan. Always advancing.
Always advancing. That's right. We're going to change it up each time. I like all their taglines.
I do too. We should get some shirts, maybe.
So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like the podcast. If you don't like the podcast, don't tell anybody.
Nope, we don't want to know.
I'll have my mother send you a note. But you can be found on YouTube and on any podcast platform.
Correct.
Podcast. All right, Yvonne, take us home.
All right. For all of you going to dog shows this weekend, please drive safe, seatbelts on, glasses on. Till next time. Bye.
Head Over Heels, written by Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler and performed by Blue Rodeo.